And last but not least is Melissa.
Hi.
Hi.
So you had said that love has to be evoked or invited in. And I think a little bit earlier than that, you said that there is no separate self that has to, overcome unworthiness. Or so if there is no separate self, what's inviting it in? And why? Why is that? Like I see I kind of had an insight of, well, yeah, I have, even though I've seen that there is no Melissa, there is no separate sense of self, I'm still moving along with the assumption that I've got to overcome this unworthiness. And I also see that I can still operate as a separate sense of self, and it's not that separate sense of self struggles or is constricted to invite that love in. But if I think about myself as the noumenon or as the self, it's like just an automatic opening.
Yeah.
So what is inviting that in?
You tell me. You knew I was going to say that, didn't you? If there is no separate self, what is doing the inviting?
But why does it have to be invited in?
Because we are so well practiced at keeping it out that we don't know we're doing that. That's an automatic habit. If I met you for the first time, if we met on the street somewhere and we both think we're separate beings, probably the first thing that human beings do is kind of check each other out and go, is she going to like me? Are we going to get along? Don't say something stupid, and there's this kind of automatic trying to get a handle on this first meeting and make sure it goes in a way that suits me, and the same will be going on inside you. And that is going on at such a kind of subliminal level, an automatic level, isn't it, in most beings? And it would be totally different or even alien to just show up there, just two bodies standing there, and neither of us know what we're supposed to say or that we even need to say anything. So that might be the natural, normal way, but it does kind of have to be allowed or sort of brought forward in some way, because the love is incredibly powerful, but not forceful. It's gentle. It's incredibly, infinitely powerful. It's infinitely powerful, but not forceful. It's very gentle. So it's never going to kind of assert itself, because that's the opposite of love, isn't it? If I kind of pushed my way into your house and said, I'm coming in whether you want me here or not, that wouldn't be a loving thing. Would there be a kind of aggressive thing? So love just kind of goes, I'll hang out here until you decide you want me to come in because you think you're other than me.
But is there a conscious point where it's like, okay, I'm open to, or is there, I know as I'm going along the path, I know that the self is more present than the separate sense of self right now. So I know that there is more of an openness, but if I just kind of went along for the rest of this lifetime and never invited it in, would it just eventually
it's coming in anyway.
To that anyway?
It's coming anyway. You can't stop it, because even the most momentous effort by our egoic sense of self to keep it out doesn't really work. Hence the fact we're all in this satsang. You wouldn't even be in the satsang, would you, and interested in awakening if our efforts to stay asleep had worked, to stay lost in the sense of being a separate being. So it's coming in anyway. We're just working with that process in a conscious way So it's coming in anyway, and it's going to deepen my entire existence in this body, and then any body that comes after, body, mind, vehicle. And I can also lovingly invite and work with and soften around that, can I? There's a conscious opening.
So I noticed recently that I had a deeper seeing into the body, and actually having a deeper respect and love for the body, and realizing that I've actually probably hated my body my whole life, and just really seeing how beautiful it is. So I'm wondering, is that an opening to that
Absolutely.
love?
Yeah, absolutely. To see something as it is right now and love it. That they're the same thing, aren't they? To love something and to see it as it really is, rather than what I think it is. That's an act of love. And it was exactly the same, and I'm sure pretty much everyone can agree that I was so determined to love the truth, and yet when I actually looked at it, I hated my own body, hated my mind with a passion, and all that had to fall away. I had this kind of loving, and this is the inviting it in that we're talking about here. Why do I feel this way about my body? And do I need to can I really expect it to look like I want it to look like, or behave like, or feel like I want it to, if all I've got for it is contempt and hatred? It's just not going to work, is it? And even before that, would the self treat it this way? Would love treat it this way? And I'm not making the way I've thought about my body wrong. I'm just choosing something higher. Just, it is how it is because of all the stuff I thought about it. It's mirroring what I thought about it. And it'll begin to mirror back to me my love for it now. And it begins to feel better. It's got more energy, and then there's more love and peace flowing through. And you probably noticed that more energy and more aliveness that come with that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
like
this
living
is
in a
that.
house and trying to knock it down all the time, right? Trying to knock bricks out of the wall.
Totally.
I don't like my body. Well, you're living in here, might as well. We all do it though, don't we?
Yeah. But to realize that was like so powerful and profound. And I just felt it just, there was such a, I felt like I just wanted to embrace my body and just love it. And I just felt so horrible for being so cruel to it all these years.
I remember the first time I was able to stand in front of a mirror, full length mirror. I don't know what I was wearing at the time. I don't know, just some jeans and a t-shirt, but I actually liked what I saw. Nothing had changed before that. I still had pounds to lose and, all kinds of stuff. But just like, it's totally okay as it is right now. Why do I have to constantly demand it needs to be different before I love it? Like I was doing that with my own self. I was doing it with my body. I was doing it with my finances, and I was doing, all over my life. And my body was perhaps the last thing that I realized. It was quite shocking. The attitude I had subtly, even though I professed to be so loving of everybody and everything and the truth, it was still going on, inside. Isn't it nice to just fall back in love with it again? It gives us this beautiful experience. It helps us recognize the truth. It is our home for a while, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Quite profound. Thank you.
Lovely. Good to talk to you as always.